T.E. Pritt published Yorkshire Country Flies in 1885 and then republished it, the second edition, in 1886 as North Country Flies. I am tying using the recipe from his book for the little black, which is fly number 2, on a 14 hook. I'm using purple thread. It's a light purple. I probably should have used a darker purple, so I'm using black wax to get it to be a darker purple. The recipe for the little black in Pritt's book says that Starling is one of the options for the Hackle, so I'm going to use a Starling feather that fits the size of my hook, and I'm going to pull off the fluff from the bottom of the feather. And then I'm going to grab the tip of that feather with my hackle plier. Grab the stem from the tip and then pull back on the feather, the barbs that will wrap for the hackle. And I'm going to tie the hackle in first now before I wrap the body. So I want the shiny side to be forward so that the barbs curve backwards. So I'll lay that in with the shiny side towards the hook shank. That way when it wraps, that'll turn up that way. And I'm wrapping the tip in underneath of what will be the body. And just wrap a few nice even wraps, then I can clip out the rest of that tip and continue wrapping back, touching wraps, and the length of spider bodies is to the split between the point of the hook and where the barb would have been. I do smash the barbs if I don't use a barbless hook for trout flies. So right there between the tip and the barb is where that body ends. The recipe in Pritt's book for the rib, I guess it's called, is magpie tail. I don't have magpie tail. It's not readily available here in the US. I could order some from England or Canada, but I'm going to substitute the blue iridescent barbs from the secondary flight feathers on a mallard wing. Just use one of those barbs. I'm going to break off the tip because that's pretty tender, and then just tie that tip in. And then I'll wrap back in touching wraps, and I'm going to pull back on my hackle feather, make sure I don't trap any of those barbs into the body. And wrap all the way back up to where I tied in that hackle. And then I'm going to put my hackle plier on that single barb from the mallard wing. And then I'm going to spiral wrap. It says sparsely dubbed, but I'm not really dubbing, I'm just spiral wrapping that iridescent feather. Mimics fairly well the iridescence of the Magpie tail. Letting the purple of the body show through underneath. And then when I get up to where I have the hackle, I will wrap over the top of that. I'll do 3 wraps over the top. If I bulk up a little bit behind the hackle, it's not a bad thing. And then I'll just clip that out. And then I will bring my thread forward of my hackle. And then I'm going to grab it with my hackle plier. And I'll pull back on the barbs and wrap them, and 2 or 3 wraps. It really kind of more depends on how full I want this hackle to be, how many wraps I'm going to take. So the hackle can be tied in with that tip forward after doing the body. This way, tying it in first does keep the head slimmer. So I think I have enough hackle on there now, so I'm just going to split the hackle that are left on the stem or the rachis. Wrap up over that 3 times. And then I'm going to see if I can just pull those off. That makes it cleaner. And then wrap under it a few times. Reach in there with my scissors and clip out that rachis. Try to get it clipped right close down to the head. And then I'll take my whip finisher and I'm going to put some wax on my thread. Again, waxing the thread makes it sticky, and then I don't have to do any head cement. And push back on those barbs so that I don't catch them with the whip finish, and then I'll put just a 3 wrap whip finish on for the head. And I'll just take my scissors and push them against the thread. And then I can just fluff out the hackle a little bit. And I have Pritt's number 2, the little black.